Texas Roadhouse UTPB press conference. We've got a lot going on this week. Men's and women's golf are currently playing at the Hillcat Invitational at Owasso, Oklahoma, and men's and women's tennis are currently playing at the Permian High School tennis courts right now against Cameron in the Lone Star Conference matches. Tuesday, softball goes down to Alpine for a doubleheader non-conference against Sul Ross at 2 and 4 o'clock. Friday, women's tennis is at Tarleton State in a Lone Star Conference match at 2 p.m. Softball is home this weekend against Angelo State with a single game at 6 o'clock Friday night, and baseball kicks off a 4-game series at Angelo State in San Angelo at 6 o'clock. Saturday, women's tennis is still on the road at Angelo State in San Angelo. Softball is at home with a doubleheader against Angelo State at 1 and 3. And baseball has their doubleheader against Angelo State at 4 and 6. Sunday, baseball closes their 4-game set against the Rams at 1 o'clock, and men's and women's tennis will be back home at the Permian High School tennis courts at 1 o'clock against Sul Ross. Okay, we'll get started today with head softball coach Tiala Tagaloa.
Yeah.
So going back and looking at the past week, obviously, I guess pitching wasn't ideal, especially even in the win, giving up a lot of runs. What are your kind of takeaways from that?
You know, I think every weekend we've gotten better, and I don't feel like that happened this past weekend. I mean, as a team, we hit 383 and we still lost 2 games. So I think that in the bullpen we struggled a little bit and didn't move the ball as well as we should have, and unfortunately that shows with that one.
So with the bullpen, do you think it's not a preparedness, like the women aren't ready to come into the game, you think, or where's the problem lying?
No, I don't know that it's not ready to come into a game. I think that because we've had so many injuries, we've had to use some pitchers more than they probably needed to throw, and because we don't have anyone else to rely on. So I think that's somewhere some of that lies in there. And then I also think just probably mental preparedness, just not ready to kind of take the bull by the horns and just go after them. So.
But like you said, on the offensive side of the ball, 383, you gotta be happy with that now.
Oh, absolutely. I think scoring we batted 383. You have Alyssa Lopez, who's here today, batted 750 with 5 RBIs, a triple and a double. You have Kayla Martin batting 667. I mean, we put up some great numbers offensively, but I mean, if we're giving up 6 home runs and a grand slam, that's not going to help us at all.
What's the time frame or the timeline with the injuries right now?
You know, honestly, I wish I had an answer. We're still kind of day to day and trying to progress them to get back. We're missing 3 in the bullpen right now, so we're definitely feeling that. And so we're just trying to out-hit people basically as we put some more pressure on the hitters, obviously. But yeah, we're just trying to dig in on defense and hit the ball hard.
Do you see your team do anything differently in that second game win as opposed to the other 2 games?
Yeah, I think they were a little more carefree. I think that they just went out there, and I think sometimes it gets hard, especially when the wins aren't coming, that everything is just like there's too much on one given swing. Like no game is won or lost on a swing or an at-bat or a play. But I think if there's so much pressure on you, I think that they kind of just, alleviated themselves of that and just kind of got out there and just swung freely. And I think that showed. I think game 2 we had 18 hits. So I wish we could have taken some of those hits and rolled them into game 3. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So, I think that we're just going to keep attacking as best as we can until we're all full force with our whole roster back again.
As a coaching staff with the bullpen struggles, are you guys going to start trying to put more pressure on starting pitchers, trying to get them to go deeper in the games? Like, where does the plan of attack go from here?
Yeah, I think one, we've got to be able to go a little bit deeper in games. I think we've got to be able to mix planes on them, throwing low, high, in, out. And then also we need to mix speeds on them. And so I think, we tried to mix speeds on them early, and I think that kind of, I think we were just off, honestly. I don't think we were hitting the zone, and I think the umpires, they vary from time to time, and I'm never going to blame that on them, but I don't think that we were pitching to the zones that they were calling. So I think that when that happens, then you have to come more direct, and you throw the ball down the plate. It's going to get hit hard. So it's a combination of things. I think it's mixing planes, changing levels on them. I think it's changing speeds. I think it's kind of keeping them off balance so that therefore we can keep them off balance so our bats can catch up and kind of take hold and run with it there.
I remember last week you guys said that you guys took a step forward and really showed the potential of the Falcon team. Do you think you guys took a step back this week, or kind of still in the same area?
I don't know that we really took a step back, because offensively, I think I can't ask for anything better than 383. I mean, I think that's phenomenal. But I think that our bullpen, where against WT, I think the bullpen was just on. And so I don't think I saw that this past weekend. And so I think that was, if anything, that was just a place that we need to improve, because if we had the same bullpen that we had at WT, it would have been a sweep, obviously. But because our bats were there against Western and they weren't there against WT, I mean, they were okay against WT. So I think we just kind of let up a little bit in the bullpen, and I think that's kind of the difference we saw from last week and the week before.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next up we'll have junior outfielder Alyssa Lopez. Alyssa hit .750 this past weekend and has hit at .327 with 10 runs and 5 stolen bases this year in the season.
What class was she?
I'm sorry, one second.
Take your time.
No, you're good.
Okay, that looks good. Okay.
So it seemed like the ball looked like a beach ball to you over the weekend. How do you feel?
I feel great. I mean, I've struggled my freshman and sophomore year. I didn't have the best batting average, and I feel like I've come a long ways this year. It was more, last year was more mental. Like, I was more in my head than I was this year, and this year I'm more relaxed when I come up to the plate.
So as a team, like Coach was saying, you guys did really well. I mean, you averaged 7 runs a game besides the 383 average. That should result in 3 wins. How frustrating is it for you and the other hitters seeing that you really can't get it done on the pitching end right now?
I mean, it's really frustrating because we're out there in the field practicing during our spring break, like we always put in extra time than others do, and it's more frustrating we don't come out with the results that we want when we're working for it, and we know that we are. Obviously we can't win with just one swing. It has to be like the whole nine people in the lineup, so it's really frustrating.
As one of the upperclassmen of a pretty young squad, how do you kind of keep the morale high with some of those younger players after losing a series?
Well, as a freshman, I feel like they're more in their heads, like they don't see that there's more game. They just focus on what's happening now. And as an upperclassman, I have to be there to remind them that it's okay. It's the next at bat, you got this. The next game, whether it's the next pitch, I'm there to pick them up and remind them that it's gonna happen. This game is nothing but failure. You learn from everything.
What's the chemistry like on the team right now?
I think it's great. We've come a long ways. We do a lot of team activities, team bonding that helps us learn more about each other.
So obviously a lot of extra base hits and long balls, and being an outfielder, when you're seeing that kind of happen again and again, what's going through your head, knowing that you guys are putting up big numbers at the plate?
It's frustrating as well, there's nothing we can do in the outfield other than help them with the balls that are hit in the outfield. We can't go in there and pitch for them. I don't think our pitching's bad, it's just that we're not always gonna have a good game. Our pitching's not always gonna be on. So it's you can't dwell on the past, you can't dwell on each hit that's happening, you have to move on and focus on the next pitch that's gonna happen.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll close out today with baseball head coach Brian Rankin. And Les Hunt.
Okay.
I'm good. Oh. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, Coach, you got a big one yesterday to split the series with Charlton. How did it feel to end the series on that blowout victory, I guess?
Just like I told him after the game, that was fun. I mean, it hasn't happened much. And to be able to do that and actually get some guys in the game that hadn't had many reps, it was good for us as a whole.
So it seemed kind of like the bats, especially, they were doing it on both ends. Well, earlier in the series, especially at the long balls, and then you were getting the little bit of small ball too. I know it was an error, but when Burrows kind of beat out the throw to first to get the RBI there. What's kind of the offensive approach right now? Because it seems like you're doing a little bit of everything.
Well, I mean, really, it's pretty much game to game in our league because you're gonna face guys every weekend. This upcoming weekend, we're gonna face really good arms. And so it's doing the little things game to game. I mean, taking an extra base with the ball in the dirt, button when we have to, and executing that properly. And I mean, we have been swinging the bat better. So when we have guys in scoring position, I thought they did a good job of driving in runs the whole weekend. I mean, game 2 we got shut down, but we still out hit them 5-3. I told them after Saturday's doubleheader, we just need that one more thing during the game, and I think we'll be all right.
So one of those things that has kind of been the storyline for this team so far is the pitching. What are your thoughts after this weekend about them?
I mean, we've got it set up in certain games. I mean, we know when Rivera's going what that's going to be now. I think we've got that pretty solidified. But it's still inconsistent. I mean, Friday we pretty much know what we're going to do because we use that game to pitch 3 or 4 guys, and we know that's what we're going to do. Sunday, after Tanner had the week at the outing at Cameron, and then what happened this weekend, it's just inconsistent. And we've been a little inconsistent in the bullpen. That has to be ironed out. I mean, when games are tied late in the game, we got to have guys come in and shut the door. You just can't give up a run every time that you go for an outing.
So how, as a staff, do you kind of get maybe 1 or 2 guys out of the pen, especially to step up?
We were stretched a little thin this weekend because we had some guys that were sick. So, I mean, we just continue. You just have to go back starting tomorrow and work on being more consistent, whether it's mechanics or mental approach, and just continue to, put guys out there that you can trust. And I mean, it's, you want to be able to trust them every single time, but, in baseball, that's not always going to happen. You're going to trust them, and then they're not going to succeed, and that just happens because of the sport that it is.
What do you think is the bigger concern right now, mental approach or mechanics?
I think it's mechanics.
Coming back after dropping the 2 games Saturday and then winning yesterday, what do you think that brought the confidence up on the team at all?
Yeah, I don't think it was real low after Saturday. I mean, they know they faced a pretty major guy in our league in the first game of that day. And, I mean, we weren't ever out of a game, and I don't feel that we ever are. But the Saturday games, I think, did the same thing like when we were at Cameron. I mean, it was the same way that it went. And it's just a matter of being able to find a couple extra things to win one of those games, and then if you come out on Sunday and do what we were able to do, then a 3-1 series win goes a long way in this league as opposed to the split.
Okay.
Works for me.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Is that awesome?
That is West. I mean,
Sorry.
Yeah.